Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is AS and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video will serve as a platform to discuss the three juggernauts of the gaming industry: Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. It will not be a history lesson about said companies, but rather a conversation about their current status, my thoughts on their online services, and where I think they may or should head in the near future. What you're about to hear is certainly not a prediction. We will just guess what could happen, hypothetically speaking. Without further ado, let's discuss the three biggest players on the gaming field: PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Let's start with the general overview for each company. Microsoft. While it may not appear as such, Microsoft over the years has become a third-party company in the same veins as Ubisoft, EA, and Activision. As opposed to creating content that is exclusive to their consoles, they are currently more concerned about enabling gamers to play their titles with as many devices as possible. Their key feature is Game Pass, which is a monthly base subscription that gives you an opportunity to download games for free, while you have the subscription of course, and play them till your heart's content. Unfortunately, there's a small asterisk with Game Pass. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes Microsoft will completely delete files without giving you a heads up. It happened to me with Shadows of the Damned, which was part of the EA section of Game Pass. I played it for a couple of sessions and had a blast. I took a week off from it, and when I came back, the game disappeared. It wasn't even available for purchase anymore. It is a minor inconvenience in what is otherwise an awesome service, but I would appreciate it if Microsoft told you ahead of time when would certain games no longer be available in their service. Sometimes they do, but not as often as they should. Sony. When it comes to a diverse roster of exclusive titles, Sony is your best pick. I don't consider Microsoft's exclusives as exclusive, since you can play their games on multiple devices. Putting emulation aside, you need a PlayStation 5 to play The Last of Us Part 2. You need a PlayStation 5 to play the upcoming Returnal. You get the picture. With that being said, all of these exclusive games mask the fact that Sony is looking into the future instead of worrying about preserving the past. This past week, we received the news that the online PSN stores on the PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, and PlayStation 3 will be closed by the end of the year. Furthermore, neither the PlayStation 5 nor the PlayStation 5 are backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3, with exceptions going to a few PlayStation 2 titles. It is here where Microsoft holds the upper hand with their implementation of backwards compatibility, and it is a point that will be further discussed in this video. Nintendo. When I was in elementary school, I remember this one kid who would never share his treats with other pupils. They had an amazing smell and I bet they tasted great, but he refused to let others try his snacks. That's Nintendo. Their exclusive games are fantastic, but Nintendo is very reserved about their intellectual properties. They're not all bad though. Their current flagship console is the Nintendo Switch, and it is an incredible little device. Being able to play Nintendo exclusives and games such as Witcher 3 and Doom Eternal on the go is appealing, and even more so for people who are on the road a lot. Nevertheless, the general issue with Nintendo is the same as Sony's, but to a worse extent. The Nintendo Wii offered several generations of games to play via the Virtual Console. The Switch only has a few games for the original Nintendo Entertainment System and Super Nintendo. We'll explore this idea very soon, but the lack of older titles is mind-boggling. Before we move on, I do have to mention another gripe with Nintendo in particular. Consumers enjoy sales and go out of their way to buy more product when it's cheaper. Why is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from 2017 still $60? Why is Skyward Sword HD, a game from the original Wii, $60? Maintaining the original price for years only tells me that Nintendo is very prideful of their exclusive titles. At the same time though, it tells me that Nintendo isn't very consumer friendly. They are smooth sailing at this point in time, but this state of mind will eventually bite them in the butt from the consumer standpoint. Now that we are caught up to speed with each company, it is time to figure out how they can improve their reputation with the consumer base and where will each company head in 10 years or so, hypothetically speaking. Nintendo. The first obvious fix is offering discounts on games. Keep the titles full price for 6 months or so, but then start gradually lowering the price. It does not make any sense to keep games like Zelda Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey at $60 on April 1st, 2021, when those games were released in 2017. Secondly, upgrade your lineup of backwards compatibility via the online membership. There is no reason why Nintendo 64 games or even GameCube games shouldn't be part of the monthly lineup. I obviously can't say that there aren't possible technical issues with bringing those video games to the online service, but I have a good hunch that at this point, Nintendo is just being lazy. The last suggestion for improvement when it comes to the Nintendo Switch should not even be stated. Why can't I message my friends on the Nintendo Switch? Why can't I use certain media applications that are available on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One? Basic features such as the ones I mentioned should have been available at launch, and I'm sure that Nintendo's consumers will appreciate their inclusion in an upcoming update. Where do I think Nintendo's going to be in 10 years? I think they're going to be in the same place that they are right now. They're going to release a Nintendo Switch Pro or maybe a Nintendo Switch 2, but they're still going to keep their mundane online services as well as the high price several years after games are released. Sony. When it comes to PlayStation, my list of suggestions revolve around a single topic: backwards compatibility. Sony, spend the extra cash for research and figure out a way to enable backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5 for PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. Heck, enable backwards compatibility as part of the PlayStation Now service. Sony has no idea how appealing their consoles will be if backwards compatibility will be enabled for those three consoles. It would even be more impressive if they can emulate PlayStation Portable titles and PlayStation Vita games. I know the last two devices are wishful thinking, but what can I say? I'm a dreamer. Let me dream in peace. Where will Sony be in 10 years? I think Sony is going to start releasing their games to other devices. Not to the extent that Xbox is doing right now, but I think a lot of their games are going to come to their PlayStation consoles and PC. You already see it with Death Stranding, Horizon Zero Dawn, and Days Gone. So it's just a matter of time before a lot of their exclusive titles are going to come to PC, at which point, in my opinion, they are not exclusives. Microsoft. Aside from being more transparent about which games are taken away and added to Game Pass, my only suggestion to Microsoft might be a tad controversial, bringing out the ire from Xbox fans and or PC fans. I understand the company wants to provide all their games to as many people as possible. With that being said, I think it would benefit Microsoft to release at least 1 or 2 titles a year that are only playable on their latest console. Financially, consoles are at their prime when they are convenient and they have video games that ask you to purchase the device. If Hellblade 2 will be exclusive to the Xbox Series S and X, consoles would fly off the shelf because the original Hellblade is exceptional. This suggestion will most likely not be taken into effect, but it is something that I want to throw in there just as food for thought. Where will Microsoft be in 10 years? I think they're going to continue to provide their services on other devices, just expanding their arsenal of locations where you can use Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate. There's a very small chance that we will see their content on Sony devices and Nintendo devices, but I think there's going to be an issue with splitting the cut between Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, so I don't think that's actually going to happen. But we never know. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for checking it out. What are your thoughts about Sony, Microsoft, and or Nintendo? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Till next time, have a great day or evening wherever you are. My name is AES, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.